Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician channel. And today we're going to be going back into the Harbor Freight new tool releases. So I really hope you guys enjoy. I try and do these once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. I think before I was doing them like every 5 or 6 weeks. I want to do them a little bit more often, but not too often, because as you will see today, we're only going to have a handful of items to look over instead of 40, and I think that'll help us really be able to look into these tools a little bit more instead of just kind of briefly going over them. So I'm going to try and do them every 2 to 3 weeks to kind of give us more time to actually look at the items. So I really hope you guys enjoy. I'm sure as soon as I get done recording this video, they're probably going to release brand new tools tonight or tomorrow, but we'll see. So first up, going ahead, we have some Hercules carbide tipped drill bits, 3/8 Shanks. It's a pretty nice complete set. These can get very expensive, so I'm not sure how well these will hold up. Only time will tell. You know, they compare these to the Diablo ones at $72. They're always comparing them to like the best stuff available. But here you can see the sizes: 1/4 inch, 3/8, ½ inch, 5/8, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch, and 1 3/8. And this is going to be good for countersinking holes, pilot holes, creating pockets, doweling, grommet holes, countersinking, drilling knots in wood, multiple different things. So if you do a lot of woodwork, these can be very handy. But if you do this daily, I'm sure you probably have a high quality set that probably was not cheap. This one runs $50, so not necessarily cheap, but for this type of bit and the amount of bits you're getting here, it's a fairly good price. Just once again, the key thing will be how long these bits will last. Next up, I don't have any experience with the Drummond, I don't know how to pronounce that, I don't know, the sump pump. So I do actually want to pick up a spare sump pump just in case my crawl space sump pump takes a dump. I do want to have one as backup just to make sure. If you guys have a brand recommendation, or if you guys think these are fairly decent, this is a new one. Obviously, they have a lot of other ones available at Harbor Freight. This one's at 189. This is 5,400 gallons per hour, 3/4 horsepower. So just kind of some of the images available. They do have a lot of other ones available. If you guys have suggestions as what I should keep on hand as possibly a backup, or maybe I should go take a look and see what I have to make sure that my backup is capable of quickly adapting to what's already down there. But if you guys have a brand suggestion, please let me know. Or if you guys have used these a decent amount and have had good or bad experiences with them, please let me know. But this is a new one available for $190. Here's a kind of a cool release that I didn't expect Harbor Freight to have. These aren't seen very often, but they are very handy to have, especially if you work in a shop doing a lot of brake jobs or anything like that, suspension, things like that, because this is specifically designed for basically your lug nuts. Like it says, it is a ½ inch drive preset lug nut torque wrench. So basically, these types of torque wrenches have a certain set amount of different torque ratings. You can basically, instead of scrolling through the entire torque rating, say from 80 foot-pounds to 200 foot-pounds, you have set presets. So you got like 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, things like that. And that is specifically for lug nuts. It makes it quicker than constantly having to change your standard torque wrench. So this one's quick and easy and allows you to, so like if you're a DIYer or anything like that, you most likely won't need one of these. You can just kind of, set your torque wrench. But if you're dealing with this stuff multiple times a day, all day, every week, this can be a very handy thing to have. So let's see. This one has 5 presets. It's a ½ inch drive. It does have this extension on it, so it gets your socket out there further. It gets your hand away from the wheel. You don't have to use an extension. Here's an image actually. So see, I do like how you have that bend there to kind of get your hand away from it, and still leaves you plenty, even when you're working with those deep dish rims or anything like that. That's a very nice feature to have, instead of the socket just attaching right there at the head. So that is nice. I'm not sure. It does show 100, 120. It might go increments of 20 on this one as well. I don't know if it says anywhere. 18.5 inch for extended reach. Plus or minus 4% clockwise. So not the best there, but when you're just working between the torque range of 80 to 160, that's not terrible. Normally when you have like these torque wrenches where they're like 5 presets, you would expect them to be a lower, percentage, possibly 2%, plus or minus 2%, especially when you only have 5 presets to really worry about. You're not worrying about the torque wrench being accurate within a very wide range. This is a pretty slim range. So I would like to see that plus or minus like 2%, but not a big deal, not terrible. It's not going to be off by too much in that torque range. So not bad. I love the idea, but once again, not really something a whole lot of DIYers will really pick up. But in the professional field, if you're doing, maybe just possibly starting out, or maybe you do a lot of suspension, but those guys doing a lot of brakes and things like that will find something like this very, very handy. And for $120, that's not a bad deal at all. I do like how they compare it to a Matco. I'd have to look at this one to see if it's of the same design, but it's only $132, so you're really not saving much there. Here you have a central machinery 20-gallon parts washer. A parts washer is always handy to have. I use parts washer for I don't know, 5 years every day at work. And the key to those are the pump itself. I mean, for $130, you do get yourself the nice little bath area, shelf on the bottom, and some legs. So it's standard, it's minimal, great for DIYers, weekend warriors, or if you have room over by your box at work. I don't know how much necessarily you're going to use it. I use a lot of brake clean, but like with these, the most expensive part is going to be the actual parts cleaning solution and making sure that pump survives, making sure you're keeping it clean, and otherwise you can actually spend a lot of money on the pump itself, replacing that. So it's a matter of being smart with your chemicals, what you're putting in there, making sure to not recirculate too much junk, and making sure that pump survives and keeping it clean. Other than that, the setup is nice. I mean, nothing like super fancy, but it's nice, it's compact, and $130 can't really go wrong. So once again, it's really just worrying about that pump. This one has a high flow pump. I'm not sure what they consider a high flow pump. I guess we'll see. 5.25 gallons per minute. Separator in there so you can put parts up there and clean it, and it'll wash off down below. 20-gallon tub with steel drain plug, removable parts shelf, flexible nozzle. I'm not sure if there's a hose attachment for it or if it's just this. It looks like it's just this flexible. Overall, not a bad product, but once again, Harbor Freight has a handful of different parts washers available. And then just a couple other items are the folding platform trucks, and these are pretty nice, very affordable. I personally don't have any reason to own one. $55, that's not bad at all. This one's 24 inches by 36 inches, got the folding handle, got some pretty decent sized casters on it, 5-inch casters, has a 440 pound capacity, 2 rigid and 2 swivel. And then you have the aluminum lightweight one, and that one's $10 cheaper and slightly smaller, 16 by 28. Really lightweight and easy to load up in your vehicle. This one can handle 330 pounds of capacity, 4-inch casters, 2 swivel, 2 rigid. So basically the same setup, just a little bit lighter. So if you're constantly moving things or anything like that, or maybe you work out of your vehicle or something like that, you may find something like this handy. But other than that, I don't really have a use for it. And then they've released some more Hercules Carbide blades and discs, and truthfully, just like I've stated in my other Harbor Freight videos, I stay away from the sandpaper and discs and wire brush attachments and things like that. I just haven't had very good experiences with them. They don't last long. And when it comes to discs, that is a very dangerous situation, so I try to go with a good quality disc, especially when they're cutting wheels or anything like that. They have released, I see, these are new because our last video started off with the go-kart stuff. Hercules and Bauer cordless grease guns, which I thought was really cool. Let me know you down in the comments. I thought Bauer was above Hercules. I guess I could be wrong. Hercules may be above Bauer. I haven't looked in a really long time. I feel like I see more people posting about Bauer stuff than I do Hercules stuff. I do see the Hercules one is $10 more than the Bauer. They both have 2 reviews. It's probably the same reviews because they are the same grease gun, as you can see here. Same grease gun. The difference is going to be in the flexible hose here. So they're both 5 ounce, both 10,000 psi max pressure, both 14.5 ounce high capacity stainless steel barrel for the cartridges. This one is going to have a 48-inch flex hose with anti-kink spring guards, blah, blah, blah. 48 inches. The other one, I believe, is 36 inches. Other than that, they're both the same unit, 5 ounces per minute, up to 5 ounces per minute, 10,000 psi. Both of them, 8.6 pounds. Just the only difference I could find in this Bauer one versus the Hercules is that this one is going to have a slightly shorter anti-kink flex hose. So once again, I guess that just depends. I guess they just offered it to both lineups just in case you just run the Bauer or you just run the Hercules. I don't think they're necessarily trying to hide that they're the same thing or anything like that. I just think they have released one for each lineup just in case somebody only uses one or the other. So I thought that it's a pretty good price when you compare them to a lot of others, and there was one comment or review in here saying that it worked as well as their DeWalt one and they were surprised by the quality. So as far as I can tell, they seem like pretty nice products, but once again, that's going to be something that I would prefer to see in person before making any purchase. But let me know your guys' thoughts. If you guys use a cordless grease gun, please let me know which one you guys have. I was actually looking at getting one. I just have a handful of cheaper ones that aren't terrible, but I would like to eventually get a cordless one. So if you guys have any suggestions, please drop it down in the comments. But that's it really as far as this week's Harbor Freight tool deals. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to see these more often, let's say once every 2 to 3 weeks, so we're going more in depth into fewer items than quickly going over multiple items, please let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.